Welcome to a new video in my home automation series, and today I'm going to test out this Sonoff iHost. This is a brand new product from Sonoff, which, well, as you can see, it's a smart home hub. So it's written on the box. And so this is promising to provide local control for your Sonoff devices. So if you are looking for an option to control your devices without cloud connection, because let's say you don't want to use the cloud, or you are in a situation where your internet access is not reliable, or you just find that the internet, all the cloud things are a little bit slow and you want really fast local control, well, the solution for you is the iHost. And this is not going to be a full video because I haven't learned all the features. That's one reason. And also because it looks like that this is going to be a product which will be similarly launched as the NS Panel Pro, meaning that, well, there is the device which is working, but I am assuming that there would be constant firmware updates and new features added along the way. So whatever I'm going to say here is going to be, well, definitely not going to be a definite feature list, and then probably it's not going to be a full feature list for a couple of months. So what I want to focus on first in today's video is just the basics, and I'm already going to show you some of the additional features that are yet to find out, but I think it will be too much to cover in one big video. And just to mention what I'm going to talk about in this video. So obviously I want to do like a little bit of look around and what's in the box and that sort of stuff. And then what we are going to see is the basic features, which, let's say, is similar to, well, to some extent similar to the NS Panel Pro, because it has a Zigbee hub and it also has a security feature which is similar to the NS Panel Pro, so you can have profiles like home, away, and I always forget the third one. But then you can set which external devices will trigger, like motion sensors and then door sensors. And of course, the other big thing is the local smart scene. So we will see that you can configure scenes which is going to run on this device. And then even if you lose complete internet connection, then it's still going to work. So the way I configure this at the moment is I'm using the Zigbee. So this works as a Zigbee coordinator at the moment. So, and to be honest, it works at the moment completely independent from the whole EV-Link application. So I'm not going to talk about the local control of controlling Wi-Fi devices. That's going to be the next step. And also I'm not going to talk about this open API interface because I haven't tested. So at the moment for me, it works like a proper Zigbee coordinator, like you would expect from, like, say, the Throat-Free Center or probably some of the Philips centers, where you can link Zigbee devices together, and then it will be able to control all of them without internet connection. And then hopefully we would be able to extend that to other Sonoff Wi-Fi devices as well. So it will be a true home control across Zigbee and Wi-Fi devices. Okay, just to look into the box. Yeah, so it already that's too close. So it already shows the things that the sensor it supports, and then some of the the controllers. And at the moment, to be honest, it looks like mostly Zigbee stuff. It doesn't really say, but I think these are Zigbee, like the curtain motor and that sort of stuff. And what you get in the box, I mean, yeah, you get some cables and some instructions, but it is mainly this this hub, which looks like this. So it's supposed to stand on the desk like that. It has a couple of buttons, and I think so. This is like on/off button, and then Wi-Fi, sorry, Zigbee pairing, and there is a button here which I don't know what it does at the moment. It doesn't seem to be doing so. That's like mute, I think, and that's to arm and disarm the security. And on the front we have a slot, and there are a couple of LEDs behind, so it gives you like different light patterns based on what is happening. And on the back we have network and we have USB-C. So you need network in order to connect it to your home network, and then give it internet access, but probably internet access is required if you want to update the firmware. But for local control, it's not going to use the internet, but that's the way you're going to access it on your home network. And then USB-C for power. There is a micro USB that would be used for some additional application. There's also a USB port, which is not really clear what it can be used at the moment. And that's it. So let's do the initial setup, which I have done already. But basically all you need to do at this point is you plug in the USB-C cable here. And let me just move this out of the way. And then you also plug in a network cable like that. And then you plug it into power. So in the box, you will receive a network cable. Sorry, you will receive a USB-C cable. Oh, there is also a network cable, but there is no charger. So it's the new Apple design. And you can see the color on the front. So these are like, you know, funky LED lights. Okay, so you could hear some chime, which actually is exactly the same chime when the NS Panel Pro boots up. And I've already put some of the Zigbee devices here that I paired. So as you can see, it is mostly, you know, Sonoff Zigbee devices, but I also have a Blitzwolf door sensor. For example, it had issues recognizing the Blitzwolf motion sensor, which I know that the regular Zigbee gateway did. So again, probably there would be some refinements to the firmware, but then I have the other door sensor here as well. So yeah, as I said, primarily it works as a Zigbee gateway. And once everything is connected and you see the blue light, then you just have to open a browser on, let's say, a laptop, which is connected to the same network as the iHost, and you just have to type iHost.local. And then you should receive a screen something similar to this. I'm saying similar because I've done the initial setup, so obviously you get a slightly different screen, but you get this picture, and on the right, you can provide some information, for example, your I think it was time zone and the password. So it's like, well, you are setting up an account, but it's not. It doesn't ask for a username and a password. It just asks for a password that you are going to use in the future to log in, and that password is not your EV-Link password. Well, it can be the same, but you can create a completely different password. And this is what it is asking me to enter as well. And once I'm logged in, I get this local interface, which is running on this iHost. Actually, in some cases, it's called the iHost, and in other places, it's called itself an AI bridge. So I might be using these two names interchangeably. But you can see the main features here. So we have some navigation on the left side, and then there is always like a submenu here on just beside the main navigation, and then we have the main screen on the middle, and it looks very similar to the cast screen in terms of the look and feel. But what we can do quickly here is first we have this home button or the room button, so that shows us all the devices that can be grouped, and it can be input into several in different rooms. As you can see, I haven't created any rooms. And then this is where I can create scenes, and if I have manual scenes, this is how I can also trigger them. And then we have the security feature. So as I said, it is very similar to how it works on the NS Panel Pro. So we have 3 profiles: home, away, and sleep, and we can activate them, and we can decide which device should trigger these modes. The next is the cast screen. So it is very similar how the Sonoff cast works, but the difference here is that this cast screen is actually provided by the iHost itself. So again, this is running locally. So you can set up here your screens that you want, for example, to be visible on your iPad, and then you can control your devices locally. And then the iPad is going to connect directly to the iHost, and it's not going to go through the internet. So I'm not going to set this up in this current video, but it is going to be a very similar functionality. It's going to work the same way. And the next we have something which is called well, it has a Docker image, and I think this is where we would be able to install various applications in the future. And for this, we need a TF card, so a micro SD card, which I need to format. And you can see that there is an application already here where I can control my eVLAN LAN devices. And that's why I said in the beginning that so far I'm just going to focus on the Zigbee coordinator feature, and then I will start experimenting with this as well. And then finally, you have some settings screens where you can, give it a name, change the password and the time zone. By the way, it looks like that they are not supporting summertime at the moment, so I had to set myself to UTC +2 in order for the time to be correct. Yeah, so probably I need to change it like in the winter when we change it back to winter time. And you can also link your eVLink account here, which at the moment it doesn't really do anything. All it does at the moment is that the iHost appears in my eVLink account as well. But when I go to that screen, it just says features are coming soon. So I'm not going to show it because, well, that's all it does. And then there is some other information, firmware. So I'm guessing that would be some button here to update the firmware, and then, log out and reboot. So as you can see, it's, fairly simple, minimal at the moment. And if I go back to the main screen here, so this is where I can add rooms. So I can create my own rooms, and there are a set of icons that I can use as well to create those rooms. And of course, you can just move your devices back to these rooms. But yeah, even if you don't create rooms, they will still appear here. And you can add devices. So you can add Zigbee devices, and you can start the pairing process. And by the way, you can start the pairing process by clicking on this button here, which has like a link symbol. So that starts the pairing. And then the screen changes to this greenish, bluish thing where it shows that it's pairing. And then you just, set a new Zigbee device to pairing mode, and then it pairs, and you can change the name. So this is how I got all these devices added. So as I said, most of the Sonoff buttons and everything. And I also have this Blitzwolf sensor. So this is my button, and if I click it, then you should be able to see that this wireless button, yeah, it changes to click. And then if I open this one, it's then, well, this is open now. So that's the Sonoff door sensor. And of course, if you go into these devices, then it creates a log. And then the same for this one. For the temperature sensor, it's going to plot a graph for you. So again, fairly similar how it works on the NS Panel Pro, but you can probably do a lot more data here. You can see that I can have a view of the half a year and then month and day. So, and I'm assuming that this information is all stored in the iHost, but I'm not absolutely sure about that. You also have some settings here, so you can rename the devices and add to scenes, change from Celsius to Fahrenheit. So fairly similar how it works in the main application as well. In the eVLink application as well. And you can also add cameras. So this looks like a thing which we inherited for the NS panel. So since you have a view and probably you can do it in a cast, you might as well just add your camera, and you can just specify it in RTSP, real-time RTSP stream URL, and then you can just use it here. It works, these are my Reolink cameras, and then it just takes, just a couple of seconds for these to load. Okay, this one loads a little bit slower, but yeah, it loads the stream, and then you can just view the stream here. Okay, so this one is not loading, but the other one is loading. So maybe I will check. Okay, yeah, I was talking too soon. So that's the function on the screen. So Zigbee devices, and I'm hoping that once I create install that application, that I will be able to see all my Wi-Fi devices here as well. And you can also create groups. And you see, if you create groups and then you put the devices into a group, then you can control them together. So similar how the grouping works in in the app as well. So the next one is going to be the scenes, and yeah, you have manual scenes and then you have smart scenes. So the manual scene is the one which triggers on, that's the tap to run. And smart scenes is obviously something that is triggered by a device. So we can see that the layout is again very similar how it works in the EV-Link app. So it should be easy to use. So you can create like a test scene, and then you have the tap to run, which then is just going to be something on the screen. You can have a timer as well. And I think this timer is also fairly good. So it can be just a one-off. It runs like, next time 11:03, or you can set it to, certain days of the week. And then of course you can change the time as well. So I think it's, for general scheduling, it's pretty good. And of course you have the smart devices. So let's say smart device, if I have the wireless button, and if I don't know, double click, then something happens. So I can't really, set a lot of things for you, because I was trying to get my throat-free IKEA light bulb to pair to this one, but for some reason I cannot reset that light. So I still need to gather a few more devices in order to test a few scenarios. But then you can see that on the action side, you can just, again, you can create smart devices and delay. So you can smart device, and you can select the iHost as a smart device, and you can, set it to change the various security mode, or mute, or disarm, or just sound an alarm. And actually this is what I've configured already. But this is, for example, nice. So you can have like a Zigbee button somewhere in the house, and then you press that and it activates the alarm. So you don't have to go into the into the web page or a touch panel to activate the alarm when you leave the room. You just press that button and it does it. Or you can also deactivate it. And as you can see, we still have this effective period for all of these smart scenes. Again, you have like a motion activated light. You set up that if motion is detected on a Zigbee motion sensor, it turns on a light. But then you can set this up to only trigger between, I don't know, 6 and 11 during the night. And I just want to show you one of these smart scenes that I created. So you can see if the door and the window sensor is open, then the iHost should sound an alarm for, well, it's basically play a sound. And it's this one. So if I do this, I hope you could hear that. So that was like a typical alarm sound. And I mean, I think it would be equally as quick as, with the cloud and everything, but this is now all happens locally. So even if I would lose internet connection, or if I would, disconnect this device, actually, let me just see what happens if I disconnect the cable. I think so we get a chime, and then we get some something on the front, which so it detected that there is like a network outage, but the alarm still works because this is all local control now. I hope the alarm sound came through the microphone. Obviously, I can't change the settings because we are disconnected. But if I reconnect the network cable, and then we wait for a couple of seconds, then I think we should see that it reconnects back to the local network or internet. Yep. Yeah. I think everything is so local at the moment that I can only access the iHost when I'm at home at the moment. So, the address is local, so it wouldn't work over the internet, or at least it wouldn't work over the internet at the moment. I mean, of course, if you really want, you can open up the port of the iHost on your router, but I would not recommend doing that because this is not a secure connection. So again, I need a little bit more experimentation on what you can do, but I'm pretty sure that at some point you would be able to control these features from the EV-Link application. So this was a scene, and as I said, with Zigbee buttons and door sensors, I think you would most probably create a lot of automated scenes. And, once you have them set up, it's pretty much like a, set and forget scenarios. As long as your iHost is receiving power, your Zigbee network is working, and your Zigbee switches will turn off your Zigbee lights, and Zigbee motion sensors would again turn off lights and do some other things. So let's head over to the security feature. So you can set the various security modes, and by the way, you can activate it from here as well. So now it's armed, and now it's disarmed. So you can see which what you call it mode actually triggers it. And then if you go into any of the modes, you can rename them. You can decide which alarm to play. Okay, and then you can maybe I mean, it's not going to be as loud as a security alarm. Just keep that in mind, and of course that's going to be inside. But yeah, you can see that I want this alarm to sound for, I don't know, 5 seconds, and then either of my door sensors should trigger it. So if I save it now, and if I arm the system, if I open the door, I think I'm running low battery on this one, because even last time it took so much time to register. Oh, sorry, I have activated the home mode. So, okay, now it's the away mode, and that's what we configured. And you also get a log that there was an alarm. So yeah, I mean, yeah. Actually, I would need to find out if you can configure which mode this. Oh yeah, the default mode. Okay, so if you set it to away mode, then if you press the button, then it activates the away mode, not the home mode. Okay, so that's how this works. Probably if I do this. Yeah, okay, so that's what configures the iHost button. And you also have a security lock here, so you can see what happened. The next one, well, I already mentioned that I'm not going to talk about this one. I want to keep this video fairly short, and I think that's going to be a very interesting feature as well. So that's probably what I'm going to explore more. I have received a TF card from Sonoff, but probably it is not included in the iHost. In the iHost when you buy it. So just make sure that you have one. So when you look at this one, it says like Docker Hub, and then it has this panel for something to install. So I'm assuming there would be some multiple of these buttons here, and I think I read somewhere, or I've seen one of the updates on Facebook that. Or one of the news from Facebook that they would probably support, let's say, Home Assistant. So I'm assuming that maybe in the future there's going to be another panel here which says like Home Assistant, and then you install that, and then that activates your Home Assistant. That activates the Home Assistant integration, and maybe there's going to be another one for, I don't know, either Node-RED or some just general API, and then we would be able to communicate with the hub using API as well, which I don't think it's enabled at the moment. So this is going to be the sort of like the expansion and the plugin place in the future. And yeah, and probably I can use this plus button as well to add some new additional stuff. And finally, we're back here with the linking the account, and well, there's nothing really here. You can change this readings to be Celsius or Fahrenheit. So I think that would be all for now. As you can see, it's even if you don't use any of the integration, you get a very easy to use, very easy to configure Zigbee hub, which works as a proper coordinator, so you can set up rules between Zigbee devices so they can trigger each other. And we could see that it works even if the network cable is completely disconnected. So this is definitely a local control. It has nothing to do with the cloud. In fact, the only reason it has connection so you can access it from your laptop on your home network. So that's nice. Local control, no internet connection, fast control, and it's all in a very small device. And I'm assuming there will be a lot of upgrades and new features that we will be able to explore in the coming weeks. If you are interested in this device, obviously I will link purchasing links in the video description, so you can decide whether you want to invest now or maybe wait a little bit longer until I can show you all the other features, and then you get, maybe a little bit more interested down the line. But I think that will be all for today. Thanks for watching, and hopefully see you next video.